Hi there. 20th of January today. We've had 3 really bad days weather-wise. We've had torrential rain, which literally hasn't stopped for 24 hours each day. The rest of the country's had it, down Manchester, around Yorkshire. Last night it turned very cold in the northeast here, and the rain turned to snow. We had snow overnight, still snow up on the hilltops, but the sun's come out and it's cleared the snow away from where we are. Bitter cold today, it's quite cold wind. But it's an ideal time to get back onto your trenches, warm yourself up in the polytunnels. No heating in here, open ends, and the wind's blowing through here, but it's good. So I'm just doing a little bit of digging today. I started this morning, I've done a half the trench, and I'll finish the other half off this afternoon. I'll try to finish one trench each day now that we've started. This soil is very good. We grew onions in here last year. They were nice. Probably revert to leeks this year. If you remember, probably October, November time, I've got a really good load of manure delivered, about 10 tonne, and we just wheeled it down and put it on top of the beds so that it stayed on top. I've kept it well watered, and now's the time to dig it in. It's lovely soil down here. It's a bit light, if anything. I prefer heavier soil, to be perfectly honest with you. But it's what I've had here for years, so I've got to make do with it now. Right. You obviously don't want to watch me digging all day long. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a few dressings that I put on. It's still a bit early to start adding fertiliser. I'll just take the camera off this tripod here. I'll turn the camera around. Right, that's better. Right, we look across there. There's still manure on the 2 beds. These are 4 leak trenches in here, or 4 raised beds anyway, to grow different product in. Still manure on the top of those beds. This bed's been all forked over and turned in nicely, and this bed is the one that I'm on with. I've done this end this morning. These are 50-foot long beds. A few years ago when I was younger, I could rattle 2 or 3 of these beds a day off. Now I do a half a bed in the morning and come back and maybe do the half in the afternoon. It takes me all day. Anyway, they're forked well in. Manure is dug well in. This is the manure untouched on the top. You can see it changes the soil. Battery's getting low. Right, moving along here. This is Remen dust, rock dust. I only started to use this last year, and at the present moment I don't know how, what benefit it is actually doing me, but I am putting it on again this year. I'll do it for a 3-year trial, see if it improves the soil. I've been told it does, and it's a tonic, and it also helps build the worm content up. Behind that we've got seaweed meal. This is what was left off last year. That's the seaweed meal in there. It smells just like the seaside. Right, I'll be putting a good handful of seaweed meal at the square yard, and I will use 1 bag of Remen dust, which is what weight's in the small bags here, 10 kilograms. I'll probably put that full 10 kilo bag, or just short of it anyway, on a full 50-foot bed, as we can see all the way along. So there's approximately 1 of those will go in every bed. A good handful of seaweed meal, and that's at the present moment, which is January. Later in the season, probably early March, I will come back in here, work again, and I'll put other top dressings on. I'll analyse the soil, and whatever is needed will be added. Certain beds that were analysed last year, I won't analyse a second time, not twice in 2 years. I'll possibly just put a light top dressing of John Innes base, or fish blood and bone even, onto the beds, just to help the stock get away. As we see, still onions hanging here from last year, red onions. It's Red Baron. The golden onions here. If you remember last October, my grandson took a load of cuttings. He's only 5-6 year old. He took a load of strawberry cuttings for me. They've all rooted up lovely, and I've put 3 to a pot, which are the hanging baskets. At the present moment, I've done about 15 hanging baskets. I'll just show you exactly what I'm doing in those. Right, here are the plants. I'll just lift the one off just to show you how I'm actually trimming them up. Right, on your strawberries this time, you can see the new leaf that's coming away. All the old leaf is to be cut from it. Just cut them away. So remove all the dead leaf, go into the bin, make sure there's no weeds in. Just knock that one out. Lovely roots on them, as you can see. Check to make sure there's no vine weevil got into the pots. And 3 of those planted into a plant pot. I'm just using Clover Multi-Purpose. And that's it there, it's beautiful. The only thing I am adding, this is a fairly new fertiliser, Terra Plus Natural. It's an organic farm fertiliser. This one is high in phosphate and potash, and there is another one which is slightly higher in nitrogen. It's very good, it's totally organic, completely biological friendly. That's it inside there, and I'll put a small handful of those, it will be a small handful, into each pot that I'm potting up. And we can have a quick look along here and see. This variety is vibrant. I've got about 3 or 4 varieties of strawberry, and I will do a few pots of each. This will give us a few early ones. I'll do a few more, maybe in a month's time, bring them in. It'll stagger them until we're ready outside. I'll quickly show you the stock plants at the moment. These haven't been touched. Well, we'll have a quick look in this bottom greenhouse. This is an aluminium greenhouse, 24 foot long. As we can see, still young plants in cells. These are still being posted. Plants in 3-inch, 7cm pots, and some we've potted up into 11cm pots. They're all looking alright. Some giants on the very bottom there, and some Cumbrian up this side. Again, these are in 11cm pots. They'll grow on for later orders, and a few still in cells. This is the way I actually post leeks out. Small plants like that, we can't post anything bigger. I've had a chap this morning was a little bit disappointed. He was expecting plants sent out in the post like this, and he thought he was going to get a dozen in post. Well, we can't post anything in trays. I know it's different. He said he's had fruit sent through the post in pots. Fruit's entirely different. It's a hard stem. It doesn't matter if anything's piled on top, but the post, obviously you're not even going to keep these upright. They would end up smashed to pieces. So nothing in plant pots can ever be posted. Not from me anyway. I wouldn't even attempt it. They are done from cells like this, and I usually wash the compost off the bottom to make sure the roots are lovely and clean all the way around, and the root plate at the base is quite clean. It doesn't matter about folding the tops over, which I do anyway. They are folded right over like that for packaging purposes. They just come up. It takes a couple of days after they're potted, and they will grow on nicely. So that's the leeks inside. We'll have a quick look at the stock plants outside. Incidentally, people ask about heating. There's no heating in here apart from 2 oil-filled radiators, as we can see there. One at the far end, and they're only switched on frosty nights. Apart from that, no heating at all. Moving into a lower part of the tunnel, we're looking at stock plants. Now, these stock plants haven't been touched last October, I would think. As we can see, there's a few foxgloves growing in the top, because I put a lot of foxgloves in plants to encourage the bees. They've self-seeded into these pots, and these plants, they're growing away nicely. They haven't even been watered. You can see the compost very dry at the top, completely dry. These don't get watered from about late October through until late February or the beginning of March, by which time I'll fill the drip trays up, and they'll soak up a bit of moisture and they'll start growing. They turn a little bit soft, and obviously we've got a little bit dead foliage. I don't remove the dead foliage until I start watering again It just gives a little bit extra protection against frost. These are being sprayed regular. They were sprayed this week with Borneo with Conserve. So the next one that I would do would be a Signum mix, which is a fungicide, and then I would switch to Dynamec. Right, I'm going to put the video on hold, and we'll eventually make our way up in the top greenhouse where we've been working and doing the videos, and I'll show you what's going on in there. Thank you.